Hi guys, this is episode 42 of Relab Life. In this episode, I'd like to talk to you about a specific subject that I've been focusing on as a side project in my written blog, how to build your design agency from scratch for just under $3,000. And I've been sharing this content through my personal social media, but as well as an Indonesian publication here in Melbourne, which is translated into an Indonesian version of it. I found that it has actually helped some people, and I've been getting some emails which really flatters me around this, and I'm really happy if I could share some of this information. And really that's the only reason why I wanted to do this, and I'm not very secretive about the way we operate, because I think it's all very general and it's all quite basic and logical anyway, and it comes down to the actions that you actually put into it. In the first post that I've written in this particular blog, I've also broken down the steps into 5 simple steps, which is finding out your why, and also building your piggy bank. The third one is finding a part-time gig. The fourth one is buying your tools, and the fifth one is about hustling. So around that content, you'd be able to first of all figure out the reason why you wanted to do this, and the first few steps that I took myself and the mistakes that I've learned and I shared with you in this particular blog post. And on the second one, it's about how to create a sophisticated portfolio when you're only starting out, which is quite a challenge sometimes when you're trying to start a business but you can't really use the work that you've done from the previous design studio or agency that you were working in. So that could be quite a challenge, and in that post I've shared my insights on how I think you could do it and still showcase the best version of your work without having too much conflict of interest with your previous employer. And the third one is about how to secure your first regular job. In this case, in this particular blog post, I've written about my own case of securing my first retainer job, so it is enough for me to quit my full-time job. Essentially, how do you get yourself into a stable position financially before you finally take the leap of faith to go, hey, you know what, I'm gonna do this by myself. I don't need this part-time gig anymore, which was a critical step in the previous post. In the third episode of the blog, I've written about strategic steps that you can take to get into this state or level. Part 4 is going to be about finding the right people and building the right team. So I've actually titled it as how to hire your first employee like a real boss. Essentially what I've written there is about building a great team and how to identify the right type of people, but most importantly in this post as well, I've written about how to understand your weaknesses, that you could actually get a team or people around you that complements your strengths, that you could actually build a super team around yourself. Part 5 is one step after you've got a nice team, a nice setup of a team, that you feel like you've got things covered from a technical point of view and from a production point of view. So part 5 is about how to grow your design agency with the simple 3-step process. The simple 3-step process is broken down in this particular post about strategically how do you scale up your design business coming from now to the near future and the later future, and we're talking about a 4 to 5 years type of distance from the now. So I think that's very important if you have an idea of scaling up, growing your business, taking on more challenges and risks that your team, your dream team that was say 4 or 5 people is not enough to support the load and the type of work that requires more capabilities and more expertise per se. So this post is going to be about strategically how do you jump from one bucket to the other and to the other, and then you repeat it again, that you constantly grow throughout the time. And finally, the last step is the intangible steps that you're going to face as a business owner, not specifically in design, but I guess the post that I've written is more relevant to the design business, but the title is The 4 Big Challenges People Don't Talk About When Running a Design Business, or running a business, I should say. It's the intangible steps that you will definitely go through as a business owner. It's, the things like facing failure and rejection, some obstacles around being swayed by the money or the lack of it, dealing with good and bad relations, juggling work and life, which becomes very difficult when you have a family and then you've got a kid or children that you have to juggle between business and work. I think it's a challenge that is very, very common and very real. I've definitely gone through a lot of that myself as well. And yeah, so those are the type of steps that I think is not covered enough, but hopefully through my experience, you could picture yourself being there and you're able to, like I said, learn a thing or two, that you avoid some of the mistakes and take some of the things that has worked for me to your own practice, that it's going to make things a lot more efficient for you. Hopefully you find it interesting and hopefully you find it useful. If it is useful for you, then I'll be very, very happy. The last thing is just a call to action for you to subscribe more than anything else, because your support means so much to the things that I'm doing, and at least it's just a quick validation saying that, hey, you're doing a good job and that this is helping you. Okay? All right, thank you guys. See you later.